team. Welcome to 10 Talks. It's time for us to take that nutrition challenge. What do we want to choose to change? And we're here to get coached up and really learn all about what is it that when we eat something, what does it do to our energy? What does it do to our emotions? And most importantly, does it set us up to peak perform? So today's topic is all about nutritional theories and bio-individuality. So what does that mean?
So nutritional theories, that's when we talk about all the diets that people came up with, and they kind of throw in our faces as being the most successful, the best for humans, the best for everybody, right? And as we age into these things, we understand that that's not really how it goes. We are individuals, and something that can help you, Carlette, might not help me, because we are different genders, we have different age, we are from different places, you know.
Little bit of different activity involvement, right? There's so many elements that make such a difference. And what I value so much about this conversation is social media, advertisement, everything can really trick me into thinking that, pop this pill, drink this shake, do this. And I'm so grateful that you are going to really teach us how to make sure that I know my desired outcome. I know what I want to accomplish with the food that I'm eating. And I'm committed to really getting coached up to understand what's perfect for me.
Awesome. I think that's the right mindset to have, just because we will see a lot of people getting famous and getting very popular for their theories, but we should be about people and not theories. People should be over theories. So understanding that component is tough in a time where social media is so big and everything is thrown in your face as the best thing possible, right? And I understand how all of these could be helpful. However, they should not be what I set for my life. It's a rule in my life, and I'm not going to be flexible about anything, So when we talk about these theories, we can see the ketogenic diet or the paleo diet or plant-based diet. And if it worked for a few people, I understand, because when people put changes and they are ingesting more vegetables and more fruits and lean proteins, those diets might work for a lot of people. That's right. However, framing it in a way where you can only get certain amounts of food or the certain types of food or being low in carbohydrates, that's where I cannot agree with. So, for example, ketogenic and paleo diet, they're low in carbohydrates, but they're still quite popular in between athletes. However, athletes really, really need energy, right? So, and our main source of energy are carbohydrates. So we need to do a good job at understanding what parts of ketogenic diet or paleo diet is good to help me with my diet. So if you're an athlete, Carlette, and you ask me, Caio, what is the best? I heard about this ketogenic diet. Do you think it's a good diet? Or what's the best diet for me? I would say, Carlette, you can try the ketogenic diet, see for yourself what works good for you, and whatever you're missing a lot of, you should go back to. And the best diet for you is the Carlette's diet.
So when we go after these diets or these fads or, a drink that somebody else is drinking, or we kind of, reach over for what other people are doing and we try it and it doesn't work for us, what are some typical performance barriers that are showing up?
I do believe that our levels of energy could fluctuate just because your body is adapting to a new way of doing things. So if you are consuming a diet that is high in carbohydrates, and then you try something that is high in fats and not carbohydrates, your body's not so used to it. So it's gonna take some time for your body to adjust and understand that fats might be the primary source of your fuel or of energies.
So let's talk about bio-individuality in terms of what does it mean? Why is it important? What's really valuable for us to begin to explore as you introduce this new thinking to us? How do we think about our lives differently with nutrition in terms of really making it personal me statting up what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and then having the new skills to be able to really understand who I am and what I need. So tell us about just that gift of new skills.
Yeah, personally, I believe that bioindividuality is really about us being able to tune in into our bodies. Our bodies are always giving us signs, right? And especially to athletes, we put our bodies through a lot. So there are a lot of signs that our bodies are giving us, possibly in a daily basis. So we want to hear that. We want to listen to that. And bioindividuality just mean that. I just had a meal. Half an hour later, 2 hours after that, 5 hours after that, how am I feeling? And if you're not feeling good, let's say you got some bloating going on, you should just track back and understand what were the foods that could possibly do that to me. And once you figure that out, you start getting good at tuning in with your bioindividuality, with your individuality. You will know how to select those foods better. And once you start getting good at that, I think you translate that into your performance. So some signs that you can see on that you can get a feeling from are just how energetic are you when you wake up? How inflamed is your body? Are you feeling your joints very achy? Are you having headaches very often? And all these signs can help an athlete to be able to tweak their diet, tweak their nutrition plan in a way that they can be improving point by point until they get to the best of it, when they are feeling energized all the time. They are not needing a nap right after a meal. If they're having a busy day, they're staying energized, they're feeling good, they're getting after their practices, they're not dipping in energy levels, which is super important for us as athletes, right? So I think I take bioindividuality as this big skill that if we tune in into how we are feeling and the signs of our bodies, we will understand. Our gut feeling will tell us what is wrong with our diets, what is wrong in our days, so we can fix it.
Well, I love being able to stat it up. And if it's not a 10 for me, recognize what performance barrier is getting in the way of me being a 10. And that 10 would be peak performance, right? Not tired, energized, being able to perform at whatever level is needed for as long as it's needed. So what's important about that is, for instance, if I eat something, and then I love the winning strategy of really listening to my body instead of just pushing through it or ignoring it, the intentionality of, how am I feeling here? I ate XYZ and wow, I'm about a 7 right now. So for instance, if a performance barrier is bloating, from a tool perspective, a coaching tool, identify the barrier that's getting in the way of you being able to be a 10. The next step is, what's my action to change? So if bloating is my performance barrier, my action to change would be watch my film. What did I eat that caused that result? And what have I eaten instead that doesn't cause that result? So what are some things that would cause bloating?
So in some people it could vary, right? Like we're talking about bioindividuality, but it could be dairy, it could be products, foods like beans could cause that a lot, and sometimes even some vegetables. Let's say a nightshade. Some people have sensitivity to nightshade vegetables like sweet potatoes or eggplant, and if they're able to understand that, they'll be able to switch that up for another vegetable that will supply them with the same amount of nutrients. And another one that I think it's becoming quite common is gluten, right? When we eat gluten, we could get bloated, we could see some immune reactions. And I think it's a matter of us being aware and really training this conscious side of our mind when it comes to food to be able to just detect these effects of some foods that do not serve us as much.
So the next tool we're going to introduce for us to really be able to be a 10 and win our nutrition is competitive greatness, because we want to be competitively great. And to do that, our minds have got to be thriving, our bodies have to be well nourished, and we really have to understand how to set ourselves up to be able to peak perform. So for competitive greatness, it's being competitively great for me. It's never against anyone else. So it goes into that individuality about really owning what foods help me to be competitively great for me and honoring me and competing for that, like making sure I'm preparing my foods, making sure that I'm setting myself and taking responsibility for what I need versus just going along with the crowd or eating what everybody else is eating when I'm not getting great results for it. So the fundamentals to achieve competitive greatness are truth, faith, and love. So we have to start with truth. The truth is my body is responding very differently to this meal that the coach has prepared or somebody's told me to eat for peak performance. My body is resisting it. It's giving me gas. It's, everything about it makes me feel really sluggish and is definitely not a 10. That's truth. It's never against anyone else. You don't have to get mad at who cooked it or, like there's no emotion to it. It's more the honor and the respect of me and my body and what I need and owning that it's my responsibility. That's why we're committed to doing this conversation and getting coached up, is that we want people to have that information so that they can be empowered by their truth rather than frustrated by their choices or by the result that's happening. So we start by truth. What is my truth? This is not working for me. Whatever I ate, even though I love it or I really want it or everybody else can eat it, it is so not working for me. Then moving into faith. Faith in myself, faith in the process. This is so important. And I want to hear from you from an expert perspective. How long does it take for me to have faith in the process of changing my nutritional choices before I'm going to feel it in my body and in my performance?
Look, if your levels of knowledge are pretty low right now and you start to get some knowledge, start implementing these changes, I think in about 1 or 2 weeks, you start seeing results. So that's when you're ready to just, okay, this thing works. I made a little bit of a change and I already see results. So I'm going to go ahead and keep improving in this.
Well, that gives me new hope immediately to know this doesn't have to go on forever, right? Like as soon as I can own my truth, be prepared and make the changes that I need, have faith in the process. What's so valuable is that it doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be super fast. I'm going to feel it, but the results are going to take time. And that's what that faith component is so valuable, is that having faith that you are doing what's right and it's going to pay off. And then moving into love, loving my body, loving the food that I'm putting into it. I want to talk about just that gift of energy of love, because if we're preparing food with love, if we're picking it out and having it be natural and really, close to what our bodies really need, it feels very different than when I'm angry because I've got to eat something or I'm forced to eat something, or I really come at it with a different energy. So talk to us about the power of love.
Okay. So, what a better way to show love than self-love first, right? We understanding that we need something else than other people,
Mhm.
and being able to step up and tell your coach and tell somebody who's cooking it for you, hey, this is not really serving me. Can I do something different? Is that okay? And it's more like stepping up for yourself and for you to be able to have this love and this intention and be a good partner, teammate, whatever it is, to people around you. I think you got to be that for yourself first. So I think self-love is the one of the best traits that people can have to really start building these better habits around nutrition.
So as we commit to choose to change based on our conversation, everybody's going to, based on individuality, be able to determine, okay, I listened to some new thinking. I got lots of new ideas. I really understand that I have to own what's important to me. I've got to stat it up. I've got to do some work to really figure it out. I'm going to respect that I'm different from other people, and I'm going to put in the preparation and the work that it takes to be competitively great, anchored in truth, faith, and love. So, what is the one thing that you would recommend as we talk about just this nutritional theories and the bio individuality? What's one thing that I could do this week as a change that would start me on the journey to be able to win nutrition?
Well, I do believe that it is to start being aware, really trying to pay attention to it, and more consciousness or more awareness comes to just having more attention. Being present while eating your meals, right? These days we have so many things distracting us from the present moment, but I think being able to eat in peace, having that time for me to understand that I'm nourishing my body right now because I'm gonna push it through some things a little bit later. It's the biggest thing for me. So that's when right after that meal, I'll be able to tune in into these feelings, into these responses from my body much more easier if I'm not being too distracted or not aware at all. So building this consciousness and awareness, I think it's super important.
Such a winning strategy, not only to win our nutrition, but to really win our life, to be present, to be where our feet are, to be very mindful about what we're putting in our bodies, not only what we're, watching on Netflix or watching and listening to other people, but everything affects us. So, team, it's up to you. We are on your support team. We are here for you to choose. What do you want to change for you? Make it all about you. This is your body, your mind, your peak performance, your desired outcomes. And we are here to give you information, get you coached up, and most importantly, encourage you to own what matters to you, go for that 10 life, and win nutrition based on what's a 10 for you. Thank you.